Hello everyone, welcome back to another DBV devlog. Today we're going to be going over some big changes in the project, and I'm here to show you them. So, yeah.
You're late.
Oh, hey Yosef.
Come on, we got a lot to cover.
So you're probably noticing this looks a little bit different than it did before. That's because it is. We're not on Minecraft anymore. We started hitting more and more issues with Minecraft, just technical issue after technical issue. Shaders was the first thing that really came into it that started becoming a problem. I really wanted the shadows and the nice lighting, but then shaders automatically killed a lot of the stuff that I used to make nice effects, and I couldn't really get around it very well, and it just started becoming more and more of a problem. Things it started seeping into space, the thing that I'm most passionate about in the mod. Even though it's a Dragon Ball mod, I just really like space, and I couldn't really get a lot of what I wanted out of it. And more it started eating away at me. I started getting burnt out way faster, just not liking what I was working on. I would find something that was a new passion, and then I would instantly find some Minecraft issue that completely side railed it into just much more of an issue than it should have been. So, yeah, the change. And at first, you're probably going to be a bit surprised, but there's quite a lot of big changes with this change that are going to be good and really expand the project and bring it to you faster than it ever would. And we'll be able to actually deliver on all the promises that DBV has promised over the years, obviously. And yeah, with that, let's introduce who the hell this guy is. So this is one of the new developers I brought in.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yosef. You've probably seen me around the server a little bit. I've been following the project for about 5 years. Um, for background, I am currently pursuing a computer engineering degree, and I've done modding for various games like Skyrim, but predominantly Baldur's Gate 3. Um, and Gooby brought me on to work on the project. We've been working on it for a little while now, so we're excited to show you what we've done.
So I just want to get into the stuff that we're excited about initially and start talking about that and alleviate some of the concerns people might be having about changing over to our own game and what that means in terms of the way the game is laid out. So yeah, it's still going to be the exact same game that we've promised. It's going to be Dragon Ball. It's going to be everything that we were planning to include in Minecraft because it was always going to be a bit different to the usual Minecraft because it was a total overhaul mod. But yeah, it's going to stay all the same on that. Everything on the wiki, all of our like balancing, everything with that is the same. So yeah, you also might be wondering why I didn't do it from a game from the beginning. And yeah, it's just I couldn't is the reason. Like people said a lot of that in the beginning, and I've said before I couldn't do it as a game. I couldn't do our own game. It's too much work. And yeah, it would have been. It would have been pretty much impossible for me back then. Where I was at in the beginning of this project was much worse off than I am now in terms of like what I can do and what I'm capable of. So it's just a completely impossible scenario, really, that I would have been able to do that in the beginning. And it just got to the point where my skills kept growing and I kept slowly feeling more and more boxed in by Minecraft. And the constant feeling like the new versions would be great for me, but also just all the problems with the new versions and trying to stay on 1.7.10, but then all the problems on 1.7.10. And it was just trying to find a balance, and I just couldn't find one. I considered updating to 1.12, but there wasn't really many gains and just the same problems. And yeah, that wasn't viable. But anyway, we're not going to be losing a load of code anyway. There's the world gen code can all be ported over to this because at the end of the day, it's just math for sections of space, and it doesn't really matter. So that stuff can be ported over really easy. All of our textures can be ported over. All of our math that we've come up with over the years for all of the like balancing can be ported over, and there's so much stuff that's been poured over already, and there's been things which I've looked at and I've wanted to add to this, and it's just been easy. Like it's been like a day to add it because we're in a full-fledged game engine now, and there's so many things in the game engine that are just made for you to do easy things. But when you try to do those things in Minecraft, because it's a ridiculously old game and it was made in a game engine that shouldn't have been used for a game, really, there's just so many things which weren't available to us. So I just had to do custom thing after custom thing. There'd be things which would take me like a month of coding, which I've managed to do in a couple hours here. Okay, so let's actually move on to what we've been doing for the last 6 months now, which is around how long we've been working on the project and trying to like port everything over and just getting a good baseline, like the foundation of everything has been what we've been doing mostly here. So getting in some basic world gen, really good foundation for multiplayer that's very scalable, very efficient, and just trying to just get everything like the UI working and just to get like the core features of a game pretty much all the things which Minecraft did for us before. And there's it's been done a lot better, I would say. I've all the things which I've seen in Minecraft, mainly 1.7.10 obviously, which is a very old version and is very bad. So I can't speak to new versions too much. But everything that I've done has been trying to improve what I found terrible on DBV on Minecraft 1.7.10. And yeah, it's been coming along really well, and everything's been going really good. The multiplayer had some hiccups in the beginning, but it's very stable now, and it's got a lot of potential, really good foundation. Yeah. So, what have you been working on, Joseph?
Um, for me, the main systems that I've been working on is I started by tackling like the underlying stats, like, obviously the strength, vitality, spirit, all those things,
Hmm.
and how those systems interact, and drudging up the old math equations from the Java version and getting everything like that laid out in the background. So most of those really foundational things are already implemented. You can see on the UI things like health, stamina, key, BP, all that stuff does work. Um, you can see the nice little character UI that was Gooby. But all those things are
UI
in.
boy.
And the natural extension of that for me felt like combat. And while it's not totally finished, there'll be a video on that in the future sometime. Um, there is a lot of good progress. And, obviously things like animations and all those things are being done on that front. But there is a great deal of progress with the combat, exactly the way, Nova wants it. So he's the ultimate checkbox for that. So if he's happy, I imagine most people will be. Um, Beyond that, there were enemy behavior and AI because, obviously, while you will be fighting other players, there are going to be quite a lot of times when you're fighting AI or enemies. So having that be genuinely challenging and fun is something really important. So we tried a few different AI like sort of systems uh, that are common in games, like behavioral trees, things like that. And I think we landed on a pretty good approach that's a bit of a hybrid that we put together ourselves. So those are the big three things that I've been working on. Under the stats, things like transformations and skills are a part of that. So those are also being developed. Um, and I think we have a really good scalable sort of foundational, like Gooby was saying, setup for all those things. What about you,
Yeah,
Gooby? What have you been doing mainly?
I mean, I've been doing all the UI. One of the things I was going to say is just the fact that we've been able to have two people as well, like Joseph working on combat. Combat kept on being something I kept on having to come back to constantly. It kept delaying me all the time, and just having to keep like those two because it's such an important thing. Just having two people, and then we've got a few other people as well. Just doing other things like in parallel with me has been such a time saver, and it will be to go ahead. But yeah, mostly what I've been doing is just the foundational stuff, like everything behind the scenes. Obviously, Yosef, you've been doing some of that as well and helping with some of that. There's a
Mhm.
there's been a lot of times as well where it's just like I'm working on something, I've got a bug, I've been pulling my hair out over it, and it's the sort of stuff that as a solo dev I've been used to, and then eventually I realize, oh, I'm an idiot. It was simple, but when you've got other people looking at it, they notice that stuff because you get tunnel vision when you program, and that's a problem. you don't notice the simple stuff. So that's sped up and reduced so much time in the past already. And yeah, it's just it's been great so far. It's been a lot of fun being able to actually have multiple people working on the project and GitHub as well. Oh my God, Java and not using GitHub. Yosef here showed me that I was basically a caveman smashing rocks together. I think in terms of programmer, but some of the things I did are atrocious. But yeah, I've been able to improve a lot recently and get a lot more. I've become a civilized man. But
A lot of source control type things, yeah, just to make sure, God forbid, anything happened to a backup, we're fully secure with
yeah,
that.
yeah. I just used to. I have a USB that I just used to put backups on, and I was supposed to do it weekly, but multiple times I didn't do it as much as I should have done. But with GitHub, it's great because it's all there, and yeah, if anything ever goes wrong, it's all on GitHub. So and then if you have problems, you can just revert back. Still don't commit as much as I should, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, Gooby's also been working on some it's things that haven't really taken that long, but I think they add a lot. As you can see, sort of the nice outlines that everything have, that is cool shading effects like that, that are kind
Yeah,
of subtle things that add to the sort of anime stylized feel that we have.
obviously everything you see in here is it's very work in progress still. Like I'm still figuring stuff out, like trying to get like a nice balance between realistic and anime and the cube world, trying to not go too far with it. I'm trying to go for like the blend not blender the shader aesthetic that you get in Minecraft, as you can see like some of the reflections around the place, like up there. But yeah, that's what I've been working on generally, and just everything really. And there's the freezer fridge there, modeled by me. I'm amazing at modeling, I know. But yeah. Anything else?
I think that's the major things. I think some other highlights that can think of off the top of my head, things like foundational things of Minecraft, like chunk loading and dimensions. Whereas if we wanted to sort of mold that into what we need for DBV, whereas before it would be
Yeah.
very difficult using Forge, as I'm sure Gooby can attest. Now
Yeah.
we wrote it, so it's like we can do whatever we need.
Yeah, there's a lot of optimizations that can go into because it's everything's made to focus to the space setup now. So I don't need dimensions that can be infinite. I can have dimensions be a lot more lightweight because I know that they only need to be a certain size. So that's the size of the planets basically. And there's other stuff. There's vertical chunks as well, not 255 like high chunks. So it's little cubic chunks, so it can scale up and down as high as the data allows, basically. And yeah, there's a lot more. Everything can be much more efficient. Minecraft doesn't make use of a lot of techniques as well that modern voxel games use to massively reduce the size of things. So the world files will be a lot smaller now, and the packets will be a lot smaller, like sending data to the server and back. So there's a lot less bandwidth being taken up on the server, and we're just using a lot of more modern techniques to make everything a lot more efficient, basically.
Yeah, and I'm sure some people have probably already noticed the mouth flaps moving.
Yeah, it's the beautiful mouth flaps.
Yeah. So it's still in a prototyping stage, but we have had some work done on a VoIP system, like positional VoIP, utilizing the
Yeah,
mouth flaps. So you'll be able to have nice, fun little conversations with your friends or your enemies while you're fighting or sparring or just going about.
yeah. I overtuned the mouth ever so slightly when I was trying to get a specific like the ooh sounds to come through. So there's been a few little issues, but it's going pretty well. So yeah, I'm outside now, and yeah, as you can see, in the light, in the space, and yeah, just a little example basically of the lens flare here is one example of something I took a long time. I think it was about a month probably for sure, at least, of me trying to do a lens flare like this in Minecraft, and it took me so long just to get something that would look nice. it still wasn't really that realistic. And yeah, it took me like a couple hours in Godot just with being able to use proper shaders, proper mechanics, and it's just it's so much easier to do stuff like that. But yeah, on to some other stuff with artists as well. There's obviously been a complete animation redo. Like these animations are all new now. They have to be completely redone by Satan, obviously, Satalin in the Discord, and yeah, she had to work on all of that very quickly and managed to get quite a lot of them out. We had a few iterations of the model, but this is the final one we landed on. There's still more improvements to be had on it, for sure, but it's in a nice place now. And yeah, there's also we had to have some art assets remade. Doodle had to remake the well, not remake, but do redo a lot of the skin texture because we found some problems with the resolution and not res matching. And he's going to be working on that means he's going to have to be redoing some clothing as well. Well, not redoing again, but improving and fixing some problems. But yeah, we're gonna have clothes in pretty soon. Bodysuit first, and we also had to change the face, as you probably noticed. The well, we didn't have to, but the resolution on the face now actually matches the body, which is a long-standing thing I've never really liked. But Satan managed to pull out pull another magic bunny out the hat with that one in a night, pretty much. Just doing all these face textures and the speaking mouth very quickly as well. So those are some of the things which have been redone, but redone a lot faster, just because everything's so much easier, and the animations were so much easier to do as well. Because back on Minecraft, it was this really dodgy Blender setup that I did, where it was translating keyframes from Blender to my custom animation system in Minecraft. But now it's all just proper Blender skeletal animation with a bunch of uh, really nice features that have just accelerated. Like she can do animations so much faster now. Combat animations are so much smoother. But yeah, just overall faster, just in way better quality and everything so far, and it's been really fun to see. So, what does this mean for you? Patrons are going to be having an alpha build this year. I was always a bit hesitant to do a alpha build because obviously I ran a DBC server in the past, and I gave out my code, and I had a lot of people rip it apart, sell it, and just generally be scummy with it without like any consent really to. I did gave it out, but still, it was just some of the stuff that people did was just not really good with it. So I was always a bit worried about giving out DBV in early stages and having it picked apart. But now it's moving over to its own game. It's not really much of an issue, so I've got much less of a problem with it really. So we're going to be having alpha builds much more in a much more industry standard way, really. We're going to have the early alpha builds go to the beta builds and then full release now instead of what we originally planned, which wasn't really feasible, to be honest. There would have been so many bugs, it would have been so broken, it would have been so hard to deal with. But I just didn't know that at the time. I just decided to randomly start doing my own mod and didn't really know what I was doing in the beginning. That's another reason why it couldn't have been a game. And yeah, now I've finally got to the point where I'm able to do this and able to do it properly. But yeah, so we're going to have those early access builds, and patrons will have access to that. And in the beginning, it's going to be a limited scope. You're going to be able to build your ships, and you're going to be able to do your hair. And it'll mainly be that. There's going to be a conversion system, so you can take the build you've already done on Minecraft on 1.7.10 specifically, and yeah, you'll be able to take those and you'll be able to use those. And if a block doesn't exist, like if there isn't a full conversion, it'll just be missing block, which will have a missing texture symbol, and yeah, that'll just be in place, and you'll be able to switch it out. So even in the event that there isn't a block, you won't lose the data that was there, and you'll be able to manually do stuff. So you won't be losing any of that. I've got plans to try and make a conversion system for old hair now as well, because I think I can do it, but no promises on that. But it's pretty doable. It needs some tweaking, but overall that should be pretty good. But hello, Yosef. But yeah, as you can see, we're on an asteroid, and there's this there's nice effect going around us, which as you can see is a force field. So this is another example of some of the nice effects that you can just get done in this really easily and really nicely, which we could not do on Minecraft. So you'll be on an asteroid for the beginning in the alphas for the most part, which will be coming this year, and you'll be building ships, and they won't be fully functional ships in the sense of you won't be able to drive them around to begin with, but there'll be a lot more. You'll be seeing constant footage again. We'll be back to what it was like in the beginning of the mod now, and back to just in full swing with a good amount of content to show you regularly, unlike the big gaps that have been existing currently, which have been because of this, because we've been working on this and getting everything ready, really. And now we're ready to show it. Just want to say thanks for watching and thanks for sticking with us for all this time. And hope you stick with us because we've got a lot of cool stuff to show you.
Bye.